new discussions are coming up, new problems are coming up, in whether it's political theory or the study of religion, the study of culture, and that there are alternative positions available.
It's difficult to see why it is that a pagan culture like India, or a culture which has so many different traditions, no identifiable religion in fact, why it should see secularism as a solution to anything at all.
It's pretty clear that Indian secularism wants to see less communal violence. That's admirable, but I'm not sure that they have the vocabulary or even the sort of conceptual framework with which to frame India's problems correctly, and I think that's what's going on at this conference.
It has become almost impossible to have a free intellectual discussion, to explore different possibilities, and to challenge secularism without being accused of being Hindutva. So we wanted to focus on the intellectual and conceptual issues involved in the problems of secularism, which are coming up around the world, I think, and see how they're relevant to the Indian case, without degenerating into a purely petty political discussion.
The main reason why we thought that this was actually a very promising idea is especially because the field of religious studies is, to put it mildly, underdeveloped in India. And I think that's one of the major successes of this conference, that we have given a forum to Indian students who have been able to formulate questions that they have been struggling with for a long time, actually.
We actually followed Mr. Ashish Nandi's roundtable speak today. That was very good.
We've done a lot of his readings, so it was really nice to meet him in person and listen to him. And all his ideas were very new. I mean, it was really nice, very informative to students like us.
The two major universities who participate in the conference are first Ghent University from Belgium, secondly Kuvempu University from India. We came together a few years ago in a European Commission project, and generally the idea emerged to organize this conference cluster, because actually this is only the second part of a 5-year conference cluster. At this conference we have the parallel paper sessions because we want to give young academics and new academics like myself, of course, we want to give them an opportunity to present their research.
Everyone goes to them, okay? Muslim, Hindu, Sikh, even though it's seen as a Muslim kind of act, despite the fact that beers, even in Islamic Pakistan, are seen as being, again, heretical. So there's, and I'm not even posing it as the formal, as the informal. I'm just saying, let's look at these spaces in between. Because the Hindu-Muslim thing doesn't exist in East Punjab. There's an erasure of population. I don't know where these examples have been seen. Apart from, I think the more interesting examples come out of places like Malerkotla, Faridkot, okay, where there were very significant concentrations of Muslim populations. But each of those have their own story to tell.
But at the same time, we also have two sessions in which a very structured debate takes place. At the platform session, this year the question of secularism was discussed by two parties. These two opposing camps engaged in a continuing debate over 3 days.
And the discussion was very simple. It started out with the question of whether church could own property or not. That is to say, was the human being the sovereign?
That brings me to a point. You know, religious wars in Europe were perhaps not only about whose truth is more truth, they were also about power. Look at the power wielded by the Catholic Church. Look at the power that was coming together in the form of the tenets of the Church or the Church of England to control governments, to control states, to control political power.
During the roundtable sessions, we invite experts to present their research, and then a select group of other experts is invited to question them or to challenge them.
You were introduced as somebody, as a Gandhian, and you tried to sort of play it down. You know, Gandhi is not revered much in Punjab, and very less so even among the Sikhs. He's generally seen as a con man who never delivered on his promises and a great plagiarist. There's a lot of Gandhianism talk, but nobody's analyzed where Gandhi gets his ideas from, and most of his ideas come from already the thinkers that have existed in Indian history before.
I mean, after all, the political facts tell for it. I mean, Sensor Diamond doesn't. He was willing to work in the slum of politics, so that's why. So if the Sikhs don't like it, so that's all.
No, I'm just saying that it's a critical analysis.
If I had time, I would have given from the Mandala Power thing that how he begins to use Gandhian terminology to justify himself for killing Gandhi.
We hope that all of you, like us, enjoyed these 4 days of engaged intellectual debate on religion and secularism in India. We also hope that some of you, like we do, see this as the beginning of a journey. We hope that you will all continue to reflect on these topics, and we also hope that we can continue the dialogue in next year's Rethinking Religion in India 3 on religion and law in India. So hope to see you all again next year.